Hey everybody, I'm Elise as Another Truth here on YouTube. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I do appreciate you. Content warning, I will bring up some direct use of words pertaining to suicide, suicidality, mental health, and exploitation of people who've died by suicide. While I will not go through specific details, which is why I personally have not published anything that really talks about this, especially with pertaining that police report, because honestly, I read it, but I can't personally um, withstand it. It is so triggering for me. Um, but I am grateful for the leads on that and everything. Now, so please step out if this is too triggering for you. Secondly, I want to clarify something. Um, I want to I want to let you know that how you choose to handle this situation is entirely up to you. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I don't think that how I handle things is always better. Sometimes there are the things that I do handle better than others. But most of the time, no, I just handle it in my own way. This isn't one of them, perhaps. I don't want to keep making nuisance reports, let's say on YouTube videos, because I think it's not going to do anything, right? But Nene Marie put up the email in her commentary in her community post how you can reach out to them. She did give the suggestion on what to do. Okay. And I think that is, to me, that is more a better use of my time because it allows me to write down what the concerns are, how these points in the video break the terms of service, compromise the community standards, and give proof on how these things affect people who are in that situation, who are having those feelings, struggling through that, going through therapy for that, or who have survived such a thing. This is not a free speech platform. This YouTube is not designed for that. Maybe at one time, but this isn't designed for that. Okay? Because people can't speak freely about certain viruses. People can't speak freely about this issue without using certain terms. And I can understand it's for advertising needs, perhaps it could be triggering. That's why I always put a trigger warning, because I know people could get triggered by it. And sometimes the way I say things is rather brusque. So people should be informed so they have a way out, you know? Um, so yeah, that's how I choose to handle this situation. Doesn't mean the way I do it is productive. But I do think writing that email and expressing those concerns matter, because people who contact the Flagstaff Police Department, which I think they're like so wonderful in terms of and professional in terms of how they're handling the volume of concerns and everything. They do have a specialized lines for this, so people don't clog up the emergency lines when there is an emergency. And I think people are using that route to report these things properly, I hope. So that's what makes that PD very receptive of everything. And I think when people do write these things down, do express themselves, those things in numbers, because there's an actual human, I believe, behind reading those emails. And that might help a little bit more. But you do what you want to do. I don't want to be a nuisance reporter. I don't want it to affect how I use YouTube because I don't trust YouTube entirely with anything. And maybe there is even a risk of writing an email because YouTube's bottom line is affected. Anything you can say can be perceived as a breach of that, while they're more egregious YouTubers like Colleen Ballinger and Shane Dawson, for example, can still post their crap on YouTube. You know, the presence of Katie Joy et al. It interferes with other people's rights, and it does go beyond YouTube. And although YouTube can't control what law enforcement does unless law enforcement informs them, I don't know. But you can't just look the other. YouTube just can't look the other way anymore. There has to be that line drawn. They already drew the line in their community standards about discussing this type of topic in the way that Katie Joy has, with pictures, information, things like that. And YouTube looks the other way. It's just absolutely fucking annoying and disgusting. And there really isn't anything we could do with Instagram, I suppose. I don't really know how to contact. I've reported an Instagram, but I don't know if there's a direct email to report that, especially with the false information that she produced, to get, to elicit a response. I'm going to tell you, she did that to elicit a response to harass that family. Because if she took the time to get a public record about a man's suicide, to talk about it, to harass a family, you think that the way she plots things, she would have gotten some quote or some verification or some information about this supposed call. She acted either hastily or she didn't really care and intentionally did this, thinking, who cares what the facts are behind this? You know, that police car whizzing by could have been for the neighbor down the street. It could have been a concocted Photoshop thing. Who knows? I don't know what made her think in that fucking stone of a head of hers that posting this without verifying this was acceptable. And I'm glad In Touch handed her ass back to her. I'm glad that Flagstaff verified that there's no record of this. That Flagstaff isn't making a direct call against Katie Joy. They're just saying that they don't have any record of it. But that's according to In Touch. Okay? But In Touch, if everything pans out, they did their job, right? They handed Katie Joy's ass back to her. She's just a fucking nuisance now. And she's going to end up getting somebody killed if she hasn't already at this point. I'm going to say it. Okay? Now I think she's grim reaping on this now. That is my opinion. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.